An oxtail is exactly what it sounds like. It's the tail of an ox, or at least that's what it was traditionally and how they got their name. Today, they can be cut from any of the beef animals, including heifers, cows, and bulls, and Dan's gonna show us how to cook them.
So I'm very excited to be cooking with these. They make an incredible braise, and that's what we're gonna do. This is really a world-class one-dish meal that we're gonna do. They're inexpensive, they're super beefy, and if you cook them long enough, they get meltingly tender, so they're awesome. So we're gonna take some inspiration from a classic Turkish dish that has beans and tomatoes and some really cool pepper in it. It's got enough flavor to really stand up to the oxtails.
All right.
So we're gonna start with them, and shopping-wise, there's a little bit to look for with oxtails. So we're gonna work with 4 pounds. You wanna look for the biggest specimens possible, and really that's about getting as much meat as you can. So you can see these guys have lots of nice meat on them compared to that
This
one.
is the tail end of the tail.
The tail end of the tail, exactly.
Great for making broth, bad for braises.
Absolutely, tons of flavor in it, but just not a lot of meat. We're gonna need to roast these, get tons of flavor, and also pull out a lot of that fat so it doesn't end up in our braise. So we're gonna be using a roasting pan. We're gonna pat these dry with paper towels, and we're gonna season them up really nicely with kosher salt and pepper. So we've got a lot of meat here, but we also have a lot of fat, and we find that when you have a lot of fat in a recipe, you actually need more salt for it to taste seasoned. We'll get them on both sides. We're also gonna roast these, and we're gonna lose a lot of this as we drain the fat. So I'm gonna transfer this now to a 450-degree oven on the lower middle rack. We'll go for about 45 minutes.
All right. Ooh, that's a bubbling. Ooh.
So they're already starting to look good, but the real key is how much fat we've gotten out of the bottom there. So we're gonna get rid of that. A little bit of fat is obviously really nice, great flavor. Too much can ruin a braise.
Greasy.
Greasy. So we're doing 2 things here. We're rendering a lot of fat, but we're also developing a ton of fond.
I see that.
And that means flavor in our braise. Okay, so I'm just gonna pour off this fat in this bowl over here, and then add these right back in.
Smells meaty.
Doesn't this smell good? Okay, so we're gonna go back in the oven for just 15 to 20 minutes. We wanna get a little more browning on these and extra fond in the pan. All right, so look at these beautiful, beautiful oxtails.
They're gorgeous.
They're nice and brown. They're not tender yet. So we're gonna get them out of the roasting pan here. And you can see we don't have as much fat this time. We got rid of most of that on that first roast. But we do have even better browning and really good fond. Would you mind just covering these with foil for me?
You got it.
So if you can set those aside.
Yep.
So we got all this great fond, and the only thing to do now is to scrape it up. So we're gonna have 4 cups of chicken broth here. And it makes it easier to clean your pan later,
Yeah,
right? All right, you can see this broth has turned really nice and brown. All that fond is up. So I'm just gonna get the rest of that 4 cups in there.
Well done.
Okay, so we'll leave that aside for just 1 second, and we're gonna start building our braise in a Dutch oven here. It's gonna be really even heat, and we're gonna use it in the oven. It's perfect. So we're gonna start with 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. So I'm just gonna heat this over medium heat until it starts to shimmer. All right, so it's time for aromatics. We have 1 onion that is chopped fine and 1 carrot. So we're gonna cook this until the veg is softened, about 5 minutes.
All right.
All right, well, this smells good and it looks good. We've softened up our onion and carrot. So now we're gonna go in with some more aromatics. We've got 6 cloves of minced garlic, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, and 2 tablespoons of Aleppo pepper.
Ooh, Aleppo pepper.
Really special pepper. We're using a lot of it because it's not that spicy. It's got really, really nice flavor. And then a teaspoon of minced fresh oregano. So this is really getting that kind of Eastern Mediterranean vibe to it. Big, big flavors. It's gonna stand up great to the beef. So I'm gonna cook this for about 30 seconds here. You can really smell that Aleppo, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that looks great. So now I'm going to add our beautiful broth we made over here with all those nice drippings.
It's amazing how dark that broth got.
I know,
when you
right?
scraped up the brown bits.
And to that, I'm also adding a 28-ounce can of whole peeled tomatoes. We're gonna cook this for about 3 hours in the oven, and then we're gonna stir it, and you'll see those tomatoes just melt apart. Really,
Like
really
it.
nice. So I'm going to bring this up to a simmer, and then it's gonna be time to add our oxtails.
Okay. So dried Aleppo is a key flavoring in this dish, and it's a key spice used around the Mediterranean and in the Middle East. Now, it has a tart bell pepper left in the sun flavor with a subtle but building heat. Now, you can find this increasingly in supermarkets, obviously online and in specialty stores, but if you can't find it, simply substitute equal parts paprika, that's for the sun-dried bell pepper flavor, and crushed red pepper flakes, that's for the building heat.
Our liquid is at a simmer, so oxtails are gonna go in. And that little juice at the end. Beautiful. This is coming right back up to a simmer here, and we're gonna cover and go into the oven. I dropped that down to 300 degrees, and we're gonna go for about 3 hours to really tenderize these oxtails. 'Cause. 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 You ready for the big reveal?
I am.
I can already smell it.
Oh, hello.
Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, that smells so good. So hearty.
This is 3 hours, and I want to show you how tender these are. I have a fork here, but I could probably use a spoon. Just look at that.
That looks delicious.
Right? That's beautiful. So what we're gonna do is transfer them out of here, nice and gently, because they are super tender. Okay, great. Would you mind just covering that with foil and we can hold on to that for a minute? Okay, so now I'm going to strain this out so we can get rid of just that little bit of fat that's still on top there, and you're gonna watch these tomatoes just basically fall apart. Really.
You know, I was looking at those tomatoes and thinking they're still
They're still big, right? And I'll just press it through, and this stirring motion right here, these tomatoes just fall apart. They help really thicken the sauce up in a nice way. I'm kind of just scraping the bottom, letting that liquid fall through. Once they break down a little bit, they're gonna go right back into the pot, just separating them from the liquid. Look at that. Okay, so we're gonna go into our fat separator over here.
I see, you had to get the vegetables out of the way so you could really defat the liquid.
Exactly. This is like pure gold in here.
It is.
Spend 5 minutes, and we get nice separation between the liquid and the fat there. So we're just gonna hit this button here, let the good stuff fall through the bottom.
Because you don't want to leave any of that flavorful liquid behind, but you don't want any of the fat.
So we're good. I mentioned that beans are in the traditional Turkish version of this dish. So this is a 15-ounce can of navy beans that we drained. We've also got 1 tablespoon of sherry vinegar, which is also an awesome ingredient. So much flavor. And finally, 2 teaspoons of fresh oregano. Really pop that fresh flavor at the end. So stir this in. Now we're gonna add back our beautiful, super tender oxtails.
Oh.
And that nice liquid. Wasting nothing. Oxtails are cooked. We just want to heat those beans through. So we're going to put it over medium heat and cook for about 5 minutes. Just warm everything through. Then it's time to eat.
All right. Now, obviously, you could make this ahead to this point if you were serving it for company.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it would even get better over a couple of days.
Then you could just put it back on the heat when the guests arrive.
All right, it's time to serve this up. Everything is heated through. It is looking gorgeous. I'm gonna platter this up here. What I love about this dish is it's a braise, which aren't always the most beautiful thing, but this is absolutely gorgeous, and it's gonna look beautiful on a nice platter. I'm gonna spoon 1 nice cup of our braising liquid and vegetables over the top here, and then we'll serve the rest on the plate.
Oh, that smells good. The Aleppo pepper, it's been mellowed, but it still smell it.
All right, I'm choosing the perfect piece for you here.
Oh, I appreciate it.
This is pure comfort food.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you used your knife there, but I don't think that was necessary.
It was really just to prevent the whole thing from falling off the bone at once, because this is really tender. That is so good. That meat is so rich and so deep in flavor.
And it really just peels right off the bone there.
Oh, it just falls away. And with the brightness of the sherry vinegar and the heat of the Aleppo pepper, this is a terrific cold weather dish.
It's good, right?
This is delicious. Thank you.
Thank you.
So if you want to make a world-class oxtail dish, start by roasting the oxtails in a 450-degree oven. Use the drippings left in the pan to build a flavorful braising liquid, along with onion, garlic, and dried Aleppo pepper. Then braise the oxtails in the oven until tender. Before serving, defat the braising liquid and stir in some navy beans and sherry vinegar. So there you have it, from America's Test Kitchen to your kitchen, a great new recipe for braised oxtails with white beans, tomatoes, and Aleppo pepper. I'm definitely making this one.
Oh, yeah.
This is a new one to the winter roster. Thanks for watching America's Test Kitchen. What'd you think?
Well, leave a comment and let us know which recipes you're excited to make, or you can just say hello.
You can find links to today's recipes and reviews in the video description.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
See you later.
I'll see you later.